Yo, what up, Fight World? It's Kid Ego, man. We back with some more boxing. We doing that vampire stream for y'all. HBO World Championship Boxing. I'm just waiting for YouTube to notify people. Young Gun TV. I see you. What's cracking? Talk about this fight on HBO. Whatever else. As y'all come in, make sure you smash the like button. Yo. Where my boxing fans at? Waiting for y'all to get these notifications. Shout out to Slim, what up? Man, I'm thirsty. What up? Anytime. Oscar said, wow, one dislike already, shaking my head. The hate come quick. See, when you get to this level, the hate come quick. Like, I literally said probably like 8 words, and there's already a dislike. I love this shit. They could dislike it. At the end of the day, it don't change nothing. They can't stop the movement. Ego Army, we out here. Make sure y'all come in, leave a comment, hit the like button, so we can get this started. You know what, I will say this, like, I like the card, the HBO card, but HBO, they falling off. Like, and I'm not saying it like I'm trying to hate, because the card was really good today. But just in the terms of in the grand scheme of things, I feel like people aren't like overly like talking about this fight. Even in the build-up, they weren't really talking about this fight class. Like, it was some good ass fights. Like, even in this stream, you know what I'm saying? When I was streaming for like Brandon Rios or Errol Spence's fights, it seemed like people were just like, bow, they were right here for it. But I was like taking a minute. I don't know. But I mean, if you didn't see it, you missed a good card. It was good, definitely good. I just feel like the energy is not like, put it this way. Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz, I'd be shocked if I do a post-fight after that fight and it's not jumping, because I think we're going to get the same type of fight, like a good-ass fight, and I just think the interest is there. People want to see what Deontay Wilder, will he get his loud mouth shut, or will he be vindicated? We'll find out next week, but lots of good boxing. I got to slow down with the water. I'm almost done. If Wilder wins by KO, the stream will be super lit. Man, you already know. Anytime there's anything like that. Who lost today? There were no real losers. It was a good card. Good fights, nobody lost. Shit, I guess this is what it is. I don't know how long this live stream is gonna be, but YouTube, they've taken forever to notify and put people on. See, they used to put it, I don't know what happened, but they used to automatically put the channel on the front page, like, quick when you were doing live streams, but now it's taking forever. First good HBO card in a minute. Look, let's talk about the main event. Congrats to Rungvisai successfully defending his title against a very game Juan Francisco El Gallo Estrada. It was a good fight. I enjoyed it. I think the rightful person won. Some people had it like super close. Listen, I think Estrada lost the fight. I think he clearly lost the fight. And I think he did a good job. It's not like a loss where he's like, hold your head in shame, or you got knocked out, or you look like a bum. It's nothing like that. But I thought he clearly lost the fight. In the first 3 rounds, I gave him like one of the rounds. I think the first round, I gave that to him just because it was kind of filler round. He was boxing, and then he kind of didn't really convincingly win some of them rounds after that, 2, 3, 4, stuff like that. And he kind of disappeared in a lot of those middle rounds where it was competitive, but I don't think he was doing enough to win the rounds. And he was starting to look a little bit discouraged to me with the power of Rungvisai. And I think he came back alive in rounds 8 or 9. But I hate when fighters do this. It's like too little, too late. Because if you give up too many rounds, then if you give up too many rounds, then you're digging yourself into a hole to the point where you're going to need a knockout to win. Because I thought Estrada looked exceptional in round 8 and 9. He did really good in those rounds, landing hard shots, like, you know what I mean, showing a deficiency in Rungvisai's lack of defense. But see, this is what happened. He wasn't able to sustain it, and then he won 2 rounds in a row, 8 and 9, and then he lost 2 rounds in a row. Rounds 10 and 11, I thought he lost. And then I thought he won the championship round, which is just like a go for broke slugfest. So to me, Estrada's gonna kick himself. He's gonna be mad when he watched that tape, because the fight was, from a skill perspective, it was within his grasp of winning. But at the end of the day, I think he just had kind of a slow start, and it was too spotty for him to win. You know what I mean? And you're going up against a champion, and it's not right. But you know, some people are like, oh, you got to do more to beat the champion. Like, put it this way. I can't name more than 2 rounds in a row that I gave Estrada. Like, name 3 rounds in a row that you gave Estrada. You know what I'm saying? I think the most he got in a row was rounds 8 and 9. And then again, he clearly lost round 10 and round 11 to me. And then he won round 12 to me. You know what I'm saying? So if anything, if you're going to get that slow of a start in those middle rounds, then you're round 8, 9, 10, and 11. You can't clearly lose round 10 and 11. You feel me? Like, that's the problem. He would have at least had to make rounds 10 and 11 super close. And I thought, it was easy to see Rungvisai won those rounds. So he again let Rungvisai get some momentum back. But it was a good fight. Definitely wouldn't mind a rematch. No loser in the sense of, like, somebody just went out there and looked like an amateur or anything like that. Nothing like that. I think that Rungvisai power is the real deal. And he had him discouraged in some of the middle rounds. See, like, if Estrada would have went for broke, like he did in the 12th round, in some of the middle rounds, and then just try to figure something out, then I think, you know what I mean, he would have had to, basically, he would have had to sew up a few more rounds. But it's still a competitive fight. It was, like, competitive enough to the point where it's very entertaining and stuff like that. But I thought Rungvisai clearly won. So that's my thoughts. But like I said, it's not a... I'd be more embarrassed if I was Carlos Cuadras losing to Mick Williams Arroyo, who ain't fought in 2 years. Last time he fought, I was at his fight. He was on the Triple G versus Dominic Wade card fighting Chocolatito. And you know how long ago that was? That was in like April 2016 or some shit. I think that's the exact month and year. I have a weird memory. I just remember random things. But yeah, I think it was April 2016. See, I'm Boxing's encyclopedia. But anyway, you know how many fights I've covered since that time? You know what I'm saying? But McWilliams Arroyo looked real good, especially all things considered. Imagine if he was fighting frequently. You know what I mean? This motherfucker coming off long-ass layoff, beating a former champion. And the good thing is, with HBO's card tonight, is the scoring. Not necessarily, hold on, let me take that back. Not necessarily the scoring and in terms of the numbers. I didn't really agree with the numbers of the scoring, but I think the right person won each fight. I think the right person won each fight. You know what I mean? And you don't always see that because former champion Carlos Cuadras, who could rematch Estrada, could rematch I guess Chocolatito or something like that in the future, sometimes you see them get favored when it comes to scoring. Like, oh, there's a bigger name. He's the A side. Funeral, Fog. He said Gallo schooled that duck. You sound stupid as fuck. He schooled him. What rounds you give him? See this. Listen, I'll give you 15 seconds to tell me what rounds you gave him, and watch him not be able to produce solid rounds. And then if you just start saying some bullshit rounds, we're gonna know if you lied. So say, okay, Funeral, Fog. What rounds did you give him? Since Francisco Estrada, he schooled that duck and all that extra shit you saying, what rounds did you give Estrada? See, this is how you know who knows their boxing. This is how you know who knows your boxing. You can just type some shit. You probably didn't even watch the fight. I should throw you in the hot seat and burn you up. How you school someone in a close ass fight? Like Floyd schooled Canelo. That shit wasn't close. That's schooling someone up. Marco Antonio Barrera, he schooled Prince Nassim. That's schooling somebody up. This was a close fight, and like I said, I just broke down my rounds, and I told you pretty much who won what rounds. So let's see you do this. Oh, that's right. You still haven't done it. This shit is too easy, man. Everybody wants to just bump their gums and, oh, yeah, he schooled him. Ward schooled Kovalev. Yes, put that in the School of Hard Knocks book. How can you win a fight standing still? That's pretty much what Sung did. Listen, Felipe, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. What? What are you talking? Hey, so in your opinion, Rungvisai stood still? Like he didn't throw punches? Is that what you're saying? He was just a mannequin? Like what? You know what's funny? He got countered most of the night and with clean shot. You know what? This is something funny. Like, Felipe, what nationality are you? Let me ask you this. Felipe, what's your ethnicity? Felipe Kings. What's your ethnicity? I'm just curious. Okay, he says Mexican raza. He says, okay, so you're Mexican, and Juan Francisco Estrada is Mexican. That's cool, but listen to what you said. He schooled him, so he schooled him easy. Are you speaking from like boxing? What rounds did you give him, or are you speaking from who you wanted to win? You know what I'm saying? Because this is so funny to me, because I notice a lot of people, oftentimes this is what they do. They when certain, like Estrada can box, he can box for sure. But when Floyd Mayweather's boxing, sometimes those same people, they don't give credit to Floyd. First of all, Floyd Mayweather would destroy Estrada. If they're in the same weight class, he's getting fucking destroyed. Pretty Boy Floyd would destroy Estrada. Let's say that. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my opinion, but I think we have enough evidence to support that. Anyway, Floyd would destroy Estrada. And it's funny because Floyd Mayweather, a lot of people don't give him credit for countering, but then now all of a sudden you love countering. You know what I'm saying? And as far as the other person, you sound, the Fog dude, you sound dumb as fuck. And you're literally, you could have just made up rounds. You said you gave Estrada rounds 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. How in the fuck did he win rounds 10 and 11? Those were some of his worst rounds. One of them especially. You know what I mean? Those weren't good rounds for him. So you clearly don't know how to score a fight to that Fog dude. You talking about you gave Estrada rounds 10 and 11, really? And you gave him round 1, which was, if anything, close. You know what I'm saying? So you don't even know how to score. So I'm already done with you. You don't know enough about boxing. That's what I'm saying. People just be picking random rounds. You might as well just be Stevie Wonder. I gave Estrada round. I gave him round 1, 3. Like, just making shit up. Anyway, I thought it was a good fight. It was a competitive fight, a good fight. You know what I mean? That's it. But I think Estrada, he only has himself to blame because he could have sewed it up. He definitely had the tools to do it. He just didn't. You know what I'm saying? Estrada didn't like them hammers coming back at him, never got in the real groove to outbox. See, now we're talking some people that actually know boxing. See, that's what I think it was in those middle rounds. You know what I mean? Rungvisai's power, I believe, is the real deal. Like, I even tweeted this. I was like, Estrada's walking back to the corner, and he's not looking confident. He looked really, like, downtrodden, and, like, he looked concerned. And then one of the dummies, I just asked what round, he gave Estrada one of those rounds when his corner was in between that round was talking about, hey, they got you down real bad. You got to do something. You got to do something. I think it might have been right before round 8, which was a really good round for Estrada. His corner was like, yeah, you got to do something. They got you down really bad. Right? And then that's what they say. And then that's the round you gave to him. Bro, you sound stupid as fuck. You said ego, go do another line. Get Vada, drug test me. I don't do drugs. I don't even smoke weed, and I live in California where it's cool to smoke weed. It's not a problem. I don't do drugs. Bring Vada right now. You the one that seemed like you on drugs. You the one asking or saying these stupid ass scorecards that nobody believes you. You need more people. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying reasonable shit, but you speculating that I'm on drugs. I don't fucking know you. How would you know what I do in my personal life? You know what I'm saying? This is this is how you ether a motherfucker. Just answer that question. And if you don't, you get blocked. If you can't answer that, name who I'm dating. What is their name? Right? You talking about, oh, go do drugs. Okay. How would you know anything about my personal life? We're waiting. This is how easy it is to body these dudes. Look, no answer. Estrada, in my opinion, took too much damage he couldn't press. Yeah, I mean, that's what I think in the middle rounds. And then when it got kind of like, Klitschko almost did that, but I don't think Estrada did as bad as Klitschko. But in the grand scheme of things, what I'm trying to say is when Klitschko fought Tyson Fury, he wasn't, I think Klitschko could have beat Tyson Fury, but he wasn't doing enough in those rounds. And then towards the end, he started going for broke, like his life and title depended on it. That's kind of what Estrada did, but he didn't look as bad. Klitschko looked pretty shitty versus Tyson Fury. I don't think Estrada, even when he was losing the early round, I don't think he looked as bad as Klitschko, but it's the same concept. Too little, too late. Estrada deserved the L. He didn't do anything to warrant a W. Yeah, and see, this is the thing. I like, you know what I'm saying? I like clean, accurate shots too. Rungvisai is not the tidiest fighter in terms of his accuracy. He was missing wildly and stuff. That's just the way he fights. You know what I mean? But there's guys like that win. Like Maidana, it's kind of like that, stuff like that. But styles make fights, and whatever he was doing, that wild shit was getting enough respect for Estrada. So Estrada he felt that power. I know that in those early rounds, and then he wasn't engaging like he needed to. Ward kept saying, seasoned fighter, an Olympic gold medal. He told you. He said that in the commentary. He said, you fight a puncher like this, you got to take risks. Got to take risks. And he says he's fighting from a dangerous range. You're on the outside of Rungvisai's punches. You got to like almost smother and bring the fight. That's why. See, that's another reason I told you Estrada would get destroyed by Floyd. He's too smart. You know what I mean? If it was Pretty Boy Floyd or Money Man, it's too smart. Estrada, you can still tell he's good, but he's still developing little things, because what Andre Ward said was absolutely true. Look at Floyd. When Floyd fought certain people, see, this is how you know who knows the boxing. Like, people say stupid shit that they hear other people say, even if it's the furthest thing from the truth. Oh, Floyd Mayweather's a pillow-fisted bitch, he's scary, blah, blah, blah. But if you notice, when Floyd fought some of the biggest threats to him, he didn't fight them scary because he's a seasoned boxer and you can't afford, like Pacquiao, you can't fight Pacquiao scary. Pacquiao will chew you up if you fight him and give him too much respect and get and let him get into a rhythm. That's why if you actually know boxing and you actually watch boxing and can decode and decipher what you're seeing, you'll notice that when Mayweather fought Pacquiao, he was more aggressive. When Mayweather fought Zab Judah, a southpaw just like Pacquiao, he was more aggressive. When Mayweather fought an awkward, what's the name, Marcos Maidana, who's bigger than him, and one punch can really fuck you up, as shown in the previous fight before the Floyd fight with Broner, right? Guess what he did? He fought and put more punches together. Floyd's smart. El Gallo, he can work on that. I'm not saying he's a dumb fighter, because he definitely has skills, but he was fighting, like Ward was saying, he was fighting at a range that benefited Rungvisai in those early rounds, where if he would have pressed Rungvisai is kind of sloppy with it, you know what I'm saying? And he needs the spacing to throw those awkward, winding, looping shots, or he has a really nice straight left, kind of like Pacquiao, but is much slower than Pacquiao's, right? But he needs distance and space to do that. So if you take it away from him, then he's not going to be able to get off that stuff. And he's not the fighter that can fight off the back foot, I would imagine, Rungvisai. He's not no guy who can mix it up like that. So Estrada just needed to make some like little adjustments, and he didn't. Exactly, he needed to press the whole fight, which he didn't do. Rungvisai got off, and he got the W. See, that's what I'm talking about. Real boxing fans can decipher what they're seeing. You know what I mean? And like I said, I think it's in Estrada's toolkit where he could have beat Rungvisai, but he would have had to fight a bit different. You know what I mean? And it's just pretty much what Ward said. Coincidental that it's the fighter telling you the game plan. He would have to bring the fight to Estrada, because you notice one thing. Round 12 was probably his best round for Estrada. He clearly won the round, and he was catching Rungvisai, and it looked like he might have even been hurting Rungvisai because he's the sharper fighter. He's the guy that can send the shorter shots, the more technical shots. So in round 12, he almost had his most success, which is coincidentally the round he knew he needed to try to do something, produce something dramatic, so he went for broke. And I'm not saying he would have had to go for broke exactly like that in the earlier rounds, but as you see, like there's a lot of Mexican fighters that are really good inside fighters. And I think he's a good inside fighter. So you have to rely on that. And like while you're feeling the power of Rungvisai, just know that you're the sharper fighter. You're the more fundamentally sound. So even though he has all this power, he's less likely to counter. Even if he does try to counter, your shots are shorter, so you can connect faster. Because I would say Rungvisai is not that fast. You know what I mean? So you just, like Ward was saying, you have to take those risks, and you have to have confidence in yourself and confidence in your abilities and stuff. Because again, in round 12 was his best round, and he went for broke and brought the fight to Rungvisai, and he was teeing off on Rungvisai. Rungvisai's head was going all crazy. You know what I'm saying? So that would have been the better answer in those middle rounds, which he was losing. Chocolatito was overrated, Adriel hype. Yeah, they definitely built him up. Oh. But it was a good fight. Like I said, he just had to make little subtle improvement. I mean, it is what it is. It's like Andre Dirrell when he fought James DeGale. I think Dirrell, especially after watching him spar recently, I definitely think he has the ability where he could have beat James DeGale. Fucking his brother beat Caleb Truax, and Caleb Truax beat James DeGale. And he was like a guy who came from 160. But Dirrell, he started off and he was in a deficit with the 2 knockdowns. So Estrada kind of created a deficit for himself. I didn't see Caleb Smith's fight. I just seen that he's advancing and he's gonna fight George Groves. I didn't watch. You know, I wasn't even juiced about it because that wasn't even the guy that made it to the semifinals. The guy that made it, the Jurgen Bramer or whatever, he was supposed to be in it, but he got hurt or sick or whatever. I didn't see the Anthony Yarde fight either. I heard he got a stoppage, but someone said he didn't look that good. But again, I never seen it. Yeah, man, I like Rungvisai. I like Estrada too, but Estrada, that was on him. Who in the hell is this ugly big beard guy? Well, you can't speak English. Second of all, you're judging a man on his looks. Bye-bye. You're the weakest link. Goodbye. It's really weird. He said, who the hell is this ugly beard guy is? You know, you can't even speak English. Sit down and shut up. Yarde hasn't been looking the cleanest in his last 2 fights. Yeah, I didn't see this one today. Triple G Canelo undercard hasn't come out yet. I don't know. I heard they're trying to put David Lemieux versus Spike O'Sullivan, which is solid, but I mean David Lemieux got dogged. And he got dog walk on the same card as Spike O'Sullivan beating Antoine Douglas. Scored it a draw? No way. Fuck no. I don't see that. People see, like I said, people don't. I really don't think people know how to judge boxing. Like, what rounds did y'all give Estrada? Like, it was, don't get me wrong, it was a fun fight, entertaining fight. The better boxers, Estrada, I'm willing to admit and say all of those things. But what rounds did Estrada really win? You know what I mean? Like, I gave Estrada round 12, round 8, round 9, and one of the early rounds, one of the earlier rounds. It's like 4 rounds out of a 12-rounder. You know what I mean? Even in the middle round, let's say you gave him another round, that's 5. You know what I'm saying? So you would have to, that means you would have to give him 2 more rounds aside from his most obvious rounds that I just, right? I don't remember 1, 2, or 3 I gave him. I forgot which one it was, but he got one of those. Then he got 8, 9 clearly, and he got 12 clearly. You know what I mean? So those are his definite most obvious rounds, and that's only 4 rounds, right? I don't remember what round it was, but rounds 1 through 3, it might have been 4. He did good. So anyway, I gave definitely his most obvious rounds, round 12, 8, and 9. Those were his most effective, best rounds, right? Plus, I told you I gave him one of the early rounds. So you scored at a draw in a 12-rounder means you gave him 2 more rounds, and I'm like, what? That's what I want to know, because I've already illustrated his most definitive rounds, and if you disagree, that's fine. But tell me any round that he fought that was more definitive than rounds 8, 9, and 12. You know what I'm saying? I can't see it. And I don't see it. And like I said, even if you gave him another round, okay, it's still 5 rounds. So to score a draw, he would have had to win all the rounds I said, plus another one, plus another one. So I just didn't see all that. I thought he was getting hit by the Rungvisai's power. The ebb and flow during those mid rounds or whatever was definitely Rungvisai. He was still fresh. He was putting a lot of mustard on them shots, and El Gallo looked discouraged. And he wasn't outboxing. Like, there was even points in some of those rounds where Rungvisai was outboxing him in spots. But then after round 8, then that's where he started to come alive a little bit. But then after round 8 and 9, where he did exceptionally well, he lost rounds 10 and 11. So it's like, I don't know how you guys score. I don't know how you score. I don't really care about Rungvisai versus Rigondeaux, because Rigondeaux hasn't posted anything on social media since he lost to Lomachenko December 8th. So I don't even know what his career is, how he's going to be from now on. Second of all, Rungvisai is talking about 115. He says, I'll fight anyone at 115. And there's options, so he's not going to 122. That's too much in the future, if anything. What about 118? I saw Gallo lost to one of Gallo. See, I mean, honestly, it's very. Some people just go to the forum and drink and then just watch the fight and they're rooting for it because they were even booing people. Like, see, I keep it a buck. I'm not here for the bullshit. You know what I mean? There is people in the forum booing when Rungvisai was being interviewed. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, are you a boxing fan or a fan of race or a fan of one particular fighter? Because what would be the point to boo that fight? That was a good fight. The card was good. You know what I'm saying? The whole Superfly card was good. Nietes, good stoppage. Carlos Cuadras and oh boy McWilliams, Arroyo, they had a war, and then the main event clearly delivered. So you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you booing Rungvisai for? He gave it his all. He never got knocked down. He was pushing. Estrada never got knocked down. They gave us a war and an epic 12th round. So you're clearly booing for some other reason. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, we're not here. We're here for the boxing fan, not anything else. You know what I mean? And a lot of people they're just going off of race or emotion or whatever. Oh yeah, Estrada, El Gallo won that, but you can't even tell me what rounds what rounds did you have him winning? Arroyo deserves the win, and I'm Mexican ego, so you can't say I'm biased. That's solid. But yeah, he did deserve the win. I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? It's cool to support your people or like whatever race you are to want them to do well, but you still gotta call boxing how it is, like what you've seen. And like I have no issue with Estrada. Like you could argue that he even beat Chocolatito. You know what I'm saying? He's put on some quality. And I was one of the people pushing for Chocolatito to rematch him, which he never did. You know what I mean? So I don't have nothing against Estrada either, but I don't see him winning. That's just what it is. I don't have no agenda or whatever. I think he's a better boxer than, but that don't always win. I think Broner's a better boxer than Maidana, but that's not gonna always win you the fight. You know what I mean? Styles make fights, and I thought that power was discouraging him clearly. I really seen that. I thought he was clearly being discouraged by the power and couldn't get off like he wanted to. And then his trainers giving him good advice, and he picked it up rounds 8, 9. Definitely picked it up in the final round, so it was a good fight. They just don't like him because he's beating the crowd's favorite. Obviously, it's not real boxing. Do you really want a winner, or do you only want the winner if it's the guy you rode with? You know what I mean? The guy that you're riding with, or you want to win, or whose trunks have the same flag as you, or walked out with the same flag. That's not, you know what I'm saying? That's not, then you're not a fan of boxing. See, we're talking about two different things. There's a lot of man fans in this sport. You know what I mean? I like Estrada. I like Rungvisai. I don't know either one of them. You know what I mean? I know he just moved out. He moved out of the division. I think he's at 118 now. And these other guys are at 115. I was surprised Gallo was able to hurt Rungvisai the way he did in 12. He should have been fighting that way from the jump. I'm not surprised. He's the better boxer, and Rungvisai has no defense. He's just tough. I mean, Chocolatito was hitting Rungvisai with crazy shots in the first fight. I was there live in New York. You know what I mean? And he was getting teed off on with some good shots. And that was a guy who had recently moved up to the division. So, again, Estrada is a clearly better boxer than Rungvisai. Would you like to see Arroyo versus Estrada? Yeah, you know, I wouldn't mind, but I'd probably rather see Rungvisai versus Estrada too. It was a quality fight, and I want to see what adjustments Estrada can make. So Rungvisai, I told you them guys from Thailand and the Muay Thai fighter, they'd be tough as fuck. He's just tough. Dan Rayfield has Arroyo losing by 5 rounds. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, what do y'all? And motherfuckers be at the fight in the press row, you know what I'm saying, in the good seating, and still be calling the fight some bullshit. But like I said, it's crazy how a motherfucker like me come from YouTube and get more respect. Like, how do you have him losing that much? Like, what was Carlos Quadros doing to the point where he would see? That's what I'm saying. See, it's probably because he's with Abel Sanchez, and Dan Ray feels in love with Gennady Golovkin, so he wants Abel Sanchez's fighter, new fighter, to do great. So he's, you know what I'm saying? It's probably some backhanded bullshit, but to have him winning, not only winning, but winning by 5 rounds, like that stuff like that's stupid. But see, this is what I'm saying. This is why new media keeps prevailing, because I feel like I never turn in no crazy ass scorecard. Like Canelo versus Triple G, I told you straight up. I said I had Triple G winning, but it was a close fight. I'm saying that instantly, and I was at that fight live. So it's not like I'm like, oh yeah, Canelo won by 12 rounds and had some way off Adelaide Bird's scorecard. I feel like I never really turn in them shitty ass scorecards like that, like some of these dudes. But you know what's weird? I feel like HBO's losing steam boxing wise. Again, this was a good card, but I feel like like people aren't really talking about it. You know what I'm saying? I just seen people in the comment, oh, I missed it. What happened? And I didn't watch it. I'm like, damn. I thought, and then even before that, I didn't really see much of a build up for this fight. But the card delivered. It was a good fight. So, yeah, I'm gonna keep this stream short. A lot of people, like I said, didn't see the fight. I suggest you guys, if you can watch it, watch it. It was a good card. I got some of the highlights on my Instagram, but yeah, check it out. Maybe it's because of the lower weight class. No, because Chocolatito did the Superfly, the first card, and I felt like it got more, it was pumped more. You know what I mean? So I guess maybe because it's the lower weight class and they didn't have a name of someone that they had been hyping up and giving a lot of exposure to, like Chocolatito. You know what I mean? Because all these guys, real boxing fans, know their names, but they're not like, they weren't built up like Chocolatito in terms of been given all these platforms to keep performing in main events. Showtime killing these motherfuckers. I promise you, mark my words. Next week, I promise you, the Wilder card is gonna be jumping. Our live stream and stuff like that, it's not gonna be all quiet. Like, you know what I mean? We only got 51 likes right now, and we got 141 people. I promise you next week is gonna be jumping. But anyway, shout out to HBO, Superfly 2. It was a good card. Boxing's treating us well. I think, like I said, Estrada, he had the tools to beat Rungvisai in terms of technically a better fighter, but he just gave up too many rounds early, in my view, and was discouraged by the power and wasn't doing what he needed. One thing that was interesting is Andre Ward talked about Bivol versus Barrera needs to be the main event. I don't even know. The fight's next week. I still don't even know who Kovalev's fighting. Who the fuck is Igor Mikhalkin? But anyway, Andre Ward, he made a very interesting comment on this telecast. They didn't have Roy Jones this week. They had him as the guest commentator or whatnot. And he said Kovalev's on social media and he's talking about he wants to have a trilogy, a third fight with me. And then Max Kellerman asked Andre Ward, hey man, I thought you were retired. And he was like, never say never, you never know. Always got to stay ready. I'm still a fighter at heart. So maybe Andre Ward is planning on coming back. I don't know. Shout out to Dre though. And once again, all the fighters seem to have the best commentary on HBO, either be it Roy Jones or Andre Ward. Seems like they have the best things to say. Jesus Alvarez, you sound stupid. He says you mean the Nutcracker. Listen, this is Ego's Army. This is a new media gang. Gang, we in here. Ego Army. Nobody's buying that dumb shit anymore. Oh, the Nutcracker. Listen, no matter what you try to do to save Kovalev in that rematch and what happened, and try to rewrite history and find your own falsehoods to rectify Kovalev. Like, listen, Kovalev got hit in the nuts. Listen, I'm gonna destroy you right now, Jesus Alvarez. Right? So hopefully you got a Jesus Jesus piece so you can pray to him, because I'm about to destroy you real quick. New media, gang, gang. Brandon Rios, when he fought Anthony Peterson, Lamont Peterson's brother, he was getting hit like literally in the dick, right? Hard as fuck, because Anthony Peterson was clearly losing the fight. Like, Anthony Peterson was like basically retaliating for losing and trying to slow the action because Brandon Rios was on his ass, right? Brandon Rios still kept fighting the whole fight. You know what I'm saying? He would just, when at certain times, he would just drop to the canvas and then the ref would have to figure it out, right? So if Kovalev was getting hit in the nutcracker, as you say, then why doesn't he do what every other fighter's done? Zab Judah versus Miguel Cotto. See, I know you don't know boxing, right? And then drop to the canvas or whatever, and then let the ref figure it out what happened. Because what would you rather have, a 10-8 round and you get to regroup and regain yourself, or get counted out and you get stopped? You know what I mean? You would definitely rather have a 10-8 round if he even gave you counted it as a knockdown. But if he just sees you drop to the ground and he knows you got hit in the dick and you're protesting, then he might not even give you the 10-8 round. So either way, it's still better to take that gamble than the gamble getting a TKO because you're defenseless, not protecting yourself. He was looking for a way out, and that wasn't the first way he did it. Boom. Stupid. Hey, got him out of here. I was gonna sub, but he said gang gang, and I cringed. Listen, E-Boogie, nobody gives a fuck. We got over 110,000 subscribers. We got Ego Army gang gang. So whether you as one person decide to subscribe, we're already verified. This is a free country. You don't have to subscribe. But you know what's corny? Is when you guys tell me about it. I was going to subscribe to the feller, but then he said gang gang, and I said no, I'm not subscribing. Like really? Oh, see, Ego Army just corrected me. 112,000 subs. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys are so desperate for attention or to be heard or whatever. Like, you say stupid shit. You said Canelo did okay in the first Golovkin fight. I'm unsubscribed. Why do you tell me that? Why do y'all say, he said gang gang, so I'm not gonna, no, I'm not subscribed. Okay, don't subscribe. Like, y'all act like I'm gonna have sleepless nights now. Ego, you were mad lucky at the casino last night. Man, I was on fire at the casino. They was doing me right. But that's like what Ward was telling Estrada. You gotta take risks. I was risking it all at the casino. Oh yeah. On the slots. Yeah. I was coming with it. Bevo ain't that good. I mean, we'll see next week. Why are you saying he's not that good? How much have you even seen of him? Ego, we're here always. You're here always keeping us updated. Puerto Rico. Shout out to Puerto Rico. Salute to you, my guy. But yeah, I'm about to get off of here. Ego, the Rios fight with low blows was versus Chavez. No, it wasn't. Brandon Rios was being hit by Anthony Peterson. See, y'all always try to correct me, but you're correcting yourselves. You're not correcting me. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll be like, okay, cool. But I know I'm not wrong on this. I know what I'm talking about. And if real boxing fans can remember a couple years ago, there was a fight with Lamont Peterson's brother, and he was hitting him low on purpose. I'm not talking about the Diego Chavez fight. I'm talking about Bam Bam when he was probably undefeated still. Anyway, good HBO card. I enjoyed it. Shout out to Superfly. Shout out to Rungvisai retaining his title. Estrada didn't do bad, but I think he should have done a little bit more in them earlier rounds, and then it would have been different. Ego, we got your back here in the Boogie Down Bronx. Keep doing your thing. Keep salute my second home, New York. New York, New York, big city of your dream. I always have fun when I go down there. Y'all got fine women and good ass restaurants. Hey, the weather, I don't know. I still like my weather better. The Cali weather be better than New York, but I still have a great time every time I go to New York. Sor Rungvisai impressed me tonight. Yeah, see, to me too. I think he had subtle improvement. He didn't seem as like in the first Chocolatito fight. He was just like on some Frankenstein shit. But against a boxer who's you could argue is better than Chocolatito, to you know what I mean in terms of technique, because some people think Estrada beat Chocolatito, right? And he had exercised some patience and stuff in those early rounds. So both fighters show heart. Much respect to that. Wilder said, "Bomb squad." He said he's gonna knock out Luis Ortiz. What y'all think about that? Is that gonna happen? Somebody's getting knocked out that fight for sure. Whether it's Ortiz knocking out Wilder or Wilder knocking out, I see a knockout for sure. Sor does have confidence. Man, it's gonna be a knockout. Trust me on this, man. Eagle Army, we do this. We does this. It's a knockout, people. Man, I'm so frustrated. Hey, Ego Army, we gotta do what's right for boxing. Y'all want me to say all the bullshit in the Deontay Wilder. Man, I'm so frustrated. I blessed you not once, but twice. I blessed you. Now I'm so frustrated. But all right, Felipe, come back next week. Wilder's sloppy boxing skills gonna get exposed by the Cuban. We'll see. Listen, I have no problem with Luis Ortiz. I fuck with him. I gave him nothing but props. When Matchroom signed him, I'm like, yeah, Golden Boy wasn't doing nothing with him. Hopefully Matchroom got rid of him. I'm like, damn, these guys aren't doing nothing. They got Luis fucking Ortiz and not doing nothing with him, huh? But see, this is the thing, man. Luis Ortiz, see, listen, I'm gonna say it like this. I swear I do not care who wins. I just want it to be a rightful win. Obviously, in my mind, I think if Wilder retains his title, that's better for boxing, just because he's already the champ and people want to see him. He's talked a mountain of shit about Anthony Joshua. So realistically, I want to see Joshua win and I want to see Wilder win because I want to see them two fight. You know what I'm saying? But if fate has something else in store and Joseph Parker wins and Luis Ortiz wins or whatever, then that's what it is. I don't see, that's what I'm saying. I'm not like emotionally invested into this situation like that where I'm like, oh, if my guy doesn't win, fuck the other guy. I'm gonna make it. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? But hey, y'all know how like last year we had tell the truth, and then this year we have hashtag let's see it. I want to do another one. I think I don't want to overwhelm y'all with these sayings, but I got another saying. If y'all want to hear the latest saying for 2018 that we can use throughout the year, in addition to let's see it and tell the truth, can I get a hell yeah? Let me get a hell yeah. All right, I'm gonna add a new saying for Ego's Army. The new saying is this. We already got tell the truth, right? We already got let's see it. When people say, oh, Canelo destroys Charlo, let's see it. Now we got a new one. The new one is keep that same energy. That's it. What that means is, for all you square motherfuckers, keep that same energy means what you're saying now in time when the situation presents itself, keep that same energy. Keep that same energy. You know what I mean? So, hashtag keep that same energy. I'm seeing a lot of people riding with Luis Ortiz. I don't have a problem with that. But if he loses, keep that same energy. All the people saying Windmill Wilder getting knocked out. If Wilder knocks him out, keep that same energy. Don't change it and be like, oh, but Ortiz was 59 years old and he was an old man. He was in that. Don't do that. Keep that same energy. Keep the same energy. And my shooters are going to help me. They're going to help me enforce that. You know what I mean? I should fuck around and start taking y'all usernames, but y'all be switching them like fucking drug dealers switch cars. But I should start writing down y'all usernames so we could do a roll call and we could do it with the shit you say, and I'm gonna have like screenshots of the shit you say and then revisit it. That's what I should do. You know what I mean? Oh, Luis Ortiz is gonna, because the thing with boxing, for years, people got to say shit on the internet, right? They were able to say shit with no type of ramifications, no one like would check them, no one would revisit what they say. Even the media and the journalists in this boxing game, you know what I mean, or a trainer or whatever will say, oh, I bet my house that this guy wins by knockout. But no media person would write and say, hey, Freddie Roach, you said that you're gonna bet your house. What about that? You know what I mean? No one will follow up with them. So I might start doing that. I'm gonna follow up with y'all. So again, if you're picking Wilder, cool. Keep that same energy if he loses. If you're picking Luis Ortiz, then keep that same energy, right? Don't switch it up and talk about like, oh yeah, Wilder, he fought an old man, and come on, man. All right, Mozzie, keep that same energy. He says Wilder fought a bunch of temps from Axon. I mean Amazon. See, usually if you land your joke the first time, it's funnier. You said Axon, so it killed your whole joke. You know what I'm saying? You got to watch out for. I'm trying to tell you how to be funny. You got to watch out for typos trying to make your joke. Carolina, man, you don't know shit about boxing. He's talking about Wilder is too slow. So you think Wilder is slower than Luis Ortiz? Okay. Keep that same energy. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, whatever. We'll see what happens next week. I'm not arguing with these dirt bags right now. You talking about Wilder's slow? Okay. So Luis Ortiz is faster than Wilder. I'm almost shocked. Some of you, I don't even think some of y'all even watch boxing. Y'all just come to boxing channels and start saying shit. I've been watching boxing for the past 40 years. I know you don't. You don't know shit. You need to watch harder. You talking about Wilder is slow? Boxing isn't what it was. Man, to get your old ass out of the sport then. What the fuck? Y'all be trolling and shit. Boxing isn't what back in the Tyson day. Okay, this ain't the Tyson days. It's now. Get your ass out the sport if you don't like it. Like what? Sick of these comments. I've been watching boxing for 40 goddamn years. Like, okay. Then he's right. It's not what it was. It's better. I was about to say. Okay, so you've been watching it for 40 years and boxing's not what it was. Then why you come to a boxing channel? Like, why you come to a boxing channel now? Like, I don't get it. Why come to a current boxing channel if you hate the sport now or it's nothing like the throwback? Do you know what I'm saying? That's what I never understood. People are like, oh, I'm so sick of boxing. Why are you here? But anyway, I really you said you've been watching boxing for 40 years and then you also said Wilder's slow. Like, compared to who? Like, he's about to fight Luis Ortiz. So you think Luis Ortiz is overall much faster than Wilder? Okay. I think that's part of Wilder's, I don't know, like his agility, his athleticism. I think that's part of his dynamic. And you talking about he's super slow. But whatever. We'll see next week. Keep that same energy. Gang, gang. I'm up out of here. Let's try to get to 100 likes. Yeah, like, I don't know what some of y'all be watching. I've been watching boxing since 1968. God damn. Still watching it and pass the love off to my son. See, that's dope, man. And see, the other thing is when we're talking about slow, there are a lot of heavyweights that aren't that fast. You know what I'm saying? And I think Joshua had good speed, but then as he started gaining too much muscle, I think his speed started to slow down. But anyway, keep that same energy next week. Somebody's getting knocked out, whoever that may be. We'll be here to discuss it. Ego Army, salute to y'all. Shout out to y'all. Smash the like button. Let's see if we can get some last minute likes. Somebody said feet work. Y'all need to go back to school. And I'm out. Peace out, y'all.